There we go. All right, finally. Liz, I think this should have you fixed now. So that should work for you. There we go. So hopefully everybody, all right, now I'm seeing everybody jump on. So it's good to have you on here. Excited to be on here for our Tips on Tuesdays, and as I was saying before the camera was acting up here, one of the things I want to do is just celebrate what's going on. Lots of exciting things that have been happening out there on Facebook. Of course, here in Augusta, we're excited. We've got our new date set for the Masters. So normally this is Masters Week, and we have a lot of things going on in this community and a lot of business that's taking place. A lot of people out there enjoying time off, normal spring break, and now life's a little different, and so I think we're kind of moving through that initial panic, and then I saw over the last few weeks people kind of pivoting themselves and pivoting their business. I said that's going to be our word for 2020, and we've seen people reinvent different revenue streams for their business, putting themselves out there in a different way. And so one of the things I wanted to come on here today is something I've been pushing for the last couple of weeks. How do we keep moving forward? And rather than just talk about it, I want to give you guys some different ways to think about putting a purpose to your day, some of the things that you can do. But before we do that, let's have celebrations. If you're jumping on here, go ahead and share with us where you're at, about your business, what's happening, something positive that you'd like to share with the group. Even if you're watching this back on replay, put hashtag replay, but still share with us something that you've done, whether it's a small step forward or a large step, or maybe you found a way to grow your business that you never thought you could before. You could be celebrating out there the fact that you've done your own live Facebook, or you found a tool that you've got out there, a new app that has helped you take your business in a different direction. Lots of different things that are going on. We've been able here at Inspired to help our clients over the last week. Some put together live classes where they've never done, classes online on an online platform. We've had some of our clients hit that button and do a Facebook Live for the very first time. We've been showing people how to jump on the iNetworks and be able to do the virtual roundtables where we've been able to still celebrate with each other and share our businesses and to be able to do our call to actions and continue to help each other. So there's all kind of things that are happening. But if you're like me, some days it's really hard to get up and think, okay, what do I want to work on today? What do I need to work on today? And what do I have to work on today? And so some of the things that I've been doing is coming up with just how to keep moving forward. And one of those is really just keeping my work week. And when it came to Saturday and Sunday, it was the weekend. And I know that in this time where like almost every day feels like the weekend for some of us, that can be a challenge. So I've still just kind of been operating as normal. And, still trying to get up at my same time, fix my coffee, come in, sit down and work. Now, I have to admit, yesterday there was no live camera out there, so no, I didn't fix my hair and put my makeup on. But still very intentional about the things that I'm going to do. So one thing that I like to do is I like to work off of a prioritized task list. And it's something that I teach several workshops on this, some ways to be able to go out there and figure out, well, what do I need to do? Now, normal, times there's, you may have all different kind of hats you're getting to wear because you're getting to work in your business, own your business. And so a lot of times it's just a matter of not being able to even get to everything on your task list. And therefore, you're having to prioritize it to see what do you need to do when. For some of you right now, you might be sitting there with a whole lot of time and, you still got that list out there that you've had forever, but it's got those things on it that you didn't necessarily want to work on. Now's the time to do that. So let me tell you some different ways that you can think about, putting your task list together. So one, you can go to Excel, you can use it, 3-ring binder, scrap piece of paper. I don't care how you want to do it, but one thing I do is I go ahead and create columns. And at the top of each column, I will, maybe I'll put that this column is going to be all about the marketing activities that I need to work on. Maybe this column is a particular client that I'm working on, my personal to-do list, maybe, things I want to do, or maybe for the household. And then I'll have, things I want to do for my social media, things I need to do, on the operational side. It could be, working on my website. It could be writing, my email campaigns, whatever it is. And I kind of categorize them. And I really like to group things because it makes it easier to kind of look and see what it is that I want to do, especially if we're launching a new project or launching something, because it could have a whole entire task list out there of things to do. If you're on a team, you want to kind of put initials by that. One way you can use this, we love to use Trello. Trello is a great app to do this. Instead of writing everything all out, we'll put everything on it on a particular board in Trello. And our team is remote, so of course we're able to have everybody on the boards with each other. And then when it's someone's action item, they're assigned to that board, and that allows everyone to kind of see their due date, what they're working on, and it allows us to move things around very quickly on the screen. So Trello is a great app. I love it because you can work from it from your phone, and you can work from it from your PC, and you can attach, it's got all kind of interactions with other apps and everything like that, or integrations, and so that's a great tool for you guys to use to do this. If not, like I said, just write it down on a piece of paper. Then what I do is I look under each column, and then I prioritize within each column. And so it's just real easy. Take the very first line item and you compare it to the second one. And what you're basically saying is number one more important than number two. And if it is, you keep going down the list. Is number one more important than the item listed on number three? And if it is, it stays on the top. But if you get to one and it's like, is it more important than number four? Number four is more important. It needs to get done first. Then number four goes up to the top. So once you kind of rearrange this, and you get each of your columns arranged, in the order in which one is more important than the other, then you look at each column, okay? Because you'll have all your ones up at the top, and then you need to prioritize by that. And that should set your intention. And if you do it at the end of the week for the next week, then you should be able to look at your calendar and say, this is what I'm going to work on next week. Now, I'm a big proponent on calendar blocking. And it's not the easiest thing to do, but once you get in a habit of, this is when I'm going to work on clients, this is when I'm going to work on, my list of things to do, then what you can do is you can begin to time things out. If I'm looking at my priority list, what can I plug in during the week? What's going to have to go on next week? What is okay to move to next month? And so you can begin to actually work on getting things done. Now, here's the thing. Now, during this time where you may find that you have extra time to work on things, this is a great time to get the things done that you hate to do, but they're necessary. Maybe it's that time where you wanted to sit down and work on your website or work on your content. I know I have a lot of clients that have a wish list to have some automation to their processes, from email campaigns to having certain things put in their database. This might be a great time for you to explore different apps and different tools out there, and go ahead and write out your automation campaigns, and that's a great time to do it. Another app that I suggest to anyone, if you're going to connect actions from one app to another, such as when someone clicks on here, they're automatically added to this list, is check out Zapier. Zapier is a great app that actually, it's a tool that connects different, like I said, different actions within what you're trying to do. So for instance, in ours, we have it connected where if someone books an appointment on this app that we use, Acuity, as soon as they book an appointment there, Zapier connects it and makes sure that they're in an automatic campaign for us to be able to say, thank you for booking, here's your links, and all the things that we would have to do manually, it's now already generated. It connects to our constant contact. It connects to our online software. Depending on whatever the action is, it will trigger a response action. And so it takes time to build all of those things out. Now it's a great time to really kind of beef up those things so that when you get busy again and the economy opens up and we're allowed to get out from sheltering in place, all of these things are already built. And then you can sit out there and have it already functioning behind the scene for you. And it will allow you to get out there and do what you enjoy doing. Growing your business, interacting, networking, and selling. Okay, so those are some options that you have. Here's another tip I've got out there, and I'm seeing everyone log in. Good morning, Liz, Victoria, Diane. It's so great to have you on here. Another tip I do is I sit there and think in the morning, what am I going to get done today? And one of the things I try to do is I say, I want to get something done today, personal. So it's one thing on my list today. It could be, I'm going to fold laundry today, or I'm going to go out and work in the yard today, or it's going to be something I'm going to do in the house that's going to be personal. I want to get that done today. What is something I'm going to do on my social media for me? Not for my clients, not for anything else, but for me. So I have, I'm going to go out there and work on something on my social media, whether it's, I'm going to go read some articles. I'm going to go out there and write my own articles. I'm going to go out there and, put a post out there for me on social media. So I have that set. Then I also have time set aside where I'm going to go work on the call to actions for my referral partners. Okay, so every single week in our round table networking, we share call to actions with each other. So I have business professionals. We all jump on every week, and we share different ways we can help each other. So I take notes on that. And so my goal is throughout the next week until we all meet again is to see how many call to actions I can actually accomplish on behalf of some of my strategic alliances. Now, it doesn't mean I can do all of them, because some of them, I may not run into their target market, or I may not have the ability to accomplish their call to action. But I do have the ability to try to go out there and get as many done as I can, though. And so follow through, I think, is extremely huge when it comes to developing referral marketing and really building those relationships with your strategic partners, is that follow through. So if you're going to go to a meeting and you're going to go take notes and you're going to sit and say, this is how, I can help someone, then set intentions to actually make that happen. So if someone on the call to action says, I really need to grow my Facebook page, well, I can go out there, probably more than likely, I've already liked their page, but I can set that during the week, I'm going to set aside some time and I'm going to go and invite people to my strategic partners pages. And many of you, if you're sitting on here, you've seen me do that. You've gotten invitations to like, someone's page. Most likely that's either a client or it's a strategic partners of mine where they've asked that, where they, their call to action is, this is how I want to grow my business. And can you help me today? Sometimes it's not a direct referral, but it's more an operational support, something that we can do to help them gain more visibility. So there's just different ways that I can sit down and work on my strategic alliances. So we don't just train it, we actually have strategic alliances that we develop here with Inspired for us and for our strategic partners. Well, I need time to work on that. Okay, so I block that into my calendar. When am I going to work on that? Also, sit out there and go, okay, what am I going to do today for client retention? So what actions am I going to do? And so I go through my days with certain intent. When am I going to work on my social media? When am I going to work on, my clients? When am I going to work on client retention? When am I going to work on strategic partners? And then, of course, when am I going to work on what we need to do behind the scene for Inspired? And that, by the time you get done, even if you're not picking up new clients, if you're just filling your day with things that that you need to do, that you have to do, that you don't want to do, but you still got to do, then you're going to find that you still have an active day. Now, I understand a lot of you, you've got the kids at home and life is just a little crazy. Well, maybe you don't get a full 8 hours. Maybe you're only getting 2 hours. Maybe you're only getting 3 hours today. Be very smart with those 3 hours. Go ahead on Fridays and plan out what you think you're going to get to work on next week, and be very intentional about it. Get things laid out. If you're like me, if you have a big desk, like I try to keep the things on my desk that I'm going to work on this week. And, if it gets too much stuff on there with, things that are going to be like for next month, whatever, like I have to move it off my desk. That way I won't get distracted. I won't get pulled on other things. And my goal is everything I've kind of put on my desk that I want to get done over the week, then my goal is by Friday to get it done. And what I have found is that this has helped me stay very productive over the last few weeks. And it's what's going to carry me forward, going over the next couple of weeks as we're, this shelter in place. And I do work from home, but it's not the same. It's not the same as when the phone's ringing and clients are calling and everything's going crazy. Now it's about what do I do to keep building the foundation of my business, to keep building the foundation of my referral relationships, so that when everything starts opening up again, I'm not sitting there going, man, I really wish I had done this when I'd had the time. So again, these are just some different ways for you guys to think about, starting your day with intention, making a list, prioritize your task, and again, just coming up with maybe, something I want to do today, something that I'm willing to do today, and something I'm able to do today. I don't care how you come up with your list, but just do something. If you don't have time to sit down at your desk and work, then you've got time to, listen to an Audible book. If you don't have time to sit down at a computer and do that, then keep a 3-ring binder by you. If you're sitting outside with the kids, or you're in the kitchen for a few minutes and you've got ideas, keep something where you can write those ideas down. They don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fleshed out completely. But the last thing you want to do is just like have a complete vacation with your brain, right? Like say, I'm just forget it. We'll see everything on the other side of. But instead, it keeps you engaged. And then when you get to sit down and have that computer time, or you wake up early, you stay up late after the kids have gone to bed, then you can actually sit down and go, let me go back to my notes. What was I thinking here? And instead of sitting down, because if you're like me, if I'm not intentional, sometimes I'll sit down at the computer and I'm like, where do I get started today? What do I do? And that's such a dangerous place for me, because then I start thinking about everything I want to do, and I don't necessarily get a very good starting point, or 30 minutes could go by and I really haven't done anything that's productive. So I really like to plan out as much as I can during my week. Obviously, life happens, and things come up that you have to take care of, but if I can stick to my goals as much as possible, then I find by Friday, when I'm ready to make my next list for the next week, I love when I'm not having to carry things forward, right? Like this stuff got done. And it's just a great feeling of knowing that, quite frankly, look at everything I'm going to get done by the time, things get busy again. And it's just a mindset of that I get to work on my business. I get the opportunity to sit here. And then, of course, I'm sprinkling in enough time to still have that family time, to still get out in the yard, to get the sunshine and interact. So here's some just different ways I wanted to share with you guys just to stay intentional. Keep moving yourself forward. We're gonna work together and be productive and be ready when we're on the other side of this thing. Thank you guys for jumping on here today. I'm Amy Kilpatrick, and this is our Tips on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. Remember to go out and inspire others.